Okay, what's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So, under the radar and under the cover of diplomacy, Venezuela says it now has over 5,000 Russian-made missiles. Over 5,000 Russian-made missiles. So, whilst the world focuses on the US strikes, or the world is at the very least beginning to focus on the US strikes in the Southern Caribbean, a new military front may be forming literally 7 miles from the coast, from the shores of Trinidad and Tobago. And that's worrying. That's worrying, as I'm sure most avid 10 viewers would agree. So President Nicolas Maduro announced that his forces are equipped with what's known as the IGLA, IGLA, the IGLA-S surface-to-missile or surface-to-air missiles, Russian interceptors that can actually hit aircraft or aircrafts and drones at Mach 2. Now, these weapons form part of Venezuela's growing defense alliance with Moscow, with Russia. Just as the United States, as we know, intensifies its operation in the Caribbean Sea, in the Southern Caribbean, just off the coast of Trinidad and Tobago, may I remind you. So, in recent weeks, as we know, the US Navy has launched 8 strikes on what it calls a narco boats off the coast of Venezuela, killing several people. But so far, as we know, they have provided no public evidence that these people who allegedly died were indeed drug smugglers. We've seen no evidence of drugs. We've seen no evidence that these people were indeed drug smugglers. And if indeed they were, we live in a democracy. I must remind you, we do not play judge, jury, and executioner. So this is akin to a war crime. Now, for Maduro, the timing is deliberate. Russia's support gives him a shield. It gives him a shield, and it sends a clear message to Washington, essentially saying, don't test us in our own waters. Now, for the Kremlin, this is a Cold War chess game, or Cold War chess 2.0, a foothold for them in the Western Hemisphere. So, since 1999, Caracas has spent billions on Russian hardware. They've spent billions on Russian hardware, from their jets, their Sukhoi jets, to helicopters and tanks. They've spent billions. But now with Russia, or Russian advisors reportedly linking radar and air defense grids, Venezuela has become Moscow's Latin American stronghold, essentially. So let's stay factual here. No one, as we know, has verified that all 5,000 missiles are new, or that the S-300 VM, as they're called, the long-range systems, are fully active. But even part of that arsenal, changes the regional balance in the Caribbean, in the Southern Caribbean, in our part of the world. So for Trinidad and Tobago, this essentially means we now sit, as I've alluded to in the past, we now sit between two superpowers that's testing each other's limits. We've got the US and Russia with Venezuela in between. a single misstep here could turn our once zone of peace, our peaceful seas, into a global flashpoint. And we already see what's taking place right now as we speak. As you know, speedboat or fisher boat or whatever you want to call it, number 8, has recently been taken out in the Caribbean seas. Now let's hear directly from the Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro himself. He has recently, I believe it was 24 hours ago, he's publicly boasting or talking about the Russian missiles or the Russian missile system his forces operate, and the defense reach they now claim to possess. Here's a video of Nicolas Maduro explaining that.
Cualquier fuerza militar del mundo sabe el poder de los IGLAS, y Venezuela tiene nada más y nada menos que 5.000 IGLAS en los puestos claves de la defensa antiaérea para garantizar ¿qué? La paz.
So that's the Venezuelan president confirming that regional or confirming what regional analysts have been warning about in the last few weeks and months. Russian-made systems, trained personnel, and a growing military confidence literally 7 miles from the coast of Trinidad and Tobago. And that's the biggest worry here. That's my only concern. I'm not necessarily concerned about I'm concerned about the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That's my biggest concern. That is my country of my birth, my heritage. I'm concerned. And now the story deepens, by the way. The story deepens, and because next week the US warship, the USS Gravely, and apparently the Ali Burke class guided missile destroyer will dock right here in Port of Spain. It's one of 3 destroyers deployed since September alongside the USS Jason Dunham and the USS Samson. For anyone still believing that these are to counter drugs, I mean, I don't know what else I need to say to you. That is clearly not the case here. So officially, it's classed as a friendly visit, but as we know, unofficially, it's a signal. The Gravely carries Tomahawk cruise missiles, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, and some sort of Aegis radar system capable of tracking hundreds of targets. This, 10 viewers, isn't a patrol ship. It's literally a floating strike platform. Anyone suggesting to you that this, I mean, you know this by now, I don't have to keep repeating it, this has nothing to do with drugs. Venezuela doesn't provide. The vast majority of drugs going to America comes from Mexico and Colombia. Made by Chinese products, by the way. Its arrival follows the first wave of US strikes near Venezuela. And it comes just days after Maduro's latest missile announcement. That, ladies and gentlemen, is not coincident. That's geopolitical geography, essentially. It is geopolitical geography. Now, here's what makes this even more alarming, in my humble opinion. Whilst both superpowers are maneuvering around our coastline, our Prime Minister says she is not aware of any military buildup. Those were her words in a recent interview. She even said she will let us know when the war starts. And she didn't say that as a joke. It wasn't said to be funny. She will let us know when the war starts.
I have no comments. I have no official communication from Miss Madam Delcy or from the Venezuelan government, and I will not comment on something that I have no official communication about. It's a hearsay. They said I will not engage in a tit for tat. I'm doing the best I can. I was elected by the electorate. We are all doing the best we can to uplift Trinidad and Tobago, and I'll continue so to. So no tit for tat on this matter.
We saw international reports that 5,000 Russian missiles have landed in Venezuela. People are just increasingly worried about an impending war. Any kind of reassurance to the public who may feel that that may come?
Ma'am, I think there's some people who are just fear-mongering. Hysteria, fear-mongering. I assure you to be calm. If and when we know more, we will let you know. We'll keep you informed of what is happening. I have no information of a war. I have no information of missiles landing in Venezuela. Again, we are speculating and driving. There's some just determined with fear-mongering and hysteria. Please be calm.
I mean, I don't know. I'm lost for words here. See that right there. That's the problem right here. That's the problem right there. Whilst Maduro talks about Russian weapons, our leader treats regional militarization as some kind of joke. This is a joke. This is not serious. People who are talking about this are allegedly gaslighting. See, leadership isn't waiting for war. It's essentially recognizing when one is being staged around you. It's having foresight. It's literally seeing what is happening around you. Has she not got a TV? Is she not up to date with foreign policy? This is insane to me. See, this isn't paranoia. It's essentially awareness. When a Russian armed state and a US destroyer both operate within visual distance of our shores, it's no longer someone else's problem. It's our reality. This is now our reality. And we have someone leading the country who appears to be blind to what's going on around us. I'm flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted. So that's why the Caribbean must speak with one voice. CARICOM should demand transparency from both Washington and Moscow. They must do so before our region becomes essentially a proxy state, for rival powers. It's happening before our very eyes right now. Because when US destroyers, when they do dock in Port of Spain, and allegedly this is supposed to be happening this weekend, when they dock in Port of Spain and Venezuela loads Russian missiles across the water, Trinidad and Tobago, we cannot afford leaders pretending not to notice. The people deserve transparency. The people deserve to know what's happening. I don't believe I'm actually saying this. The people deserve transparency, not denial. We are in a state of denial that this is happening right now. So the Caribbean can either stay silent, or our leaders could either stay silent and potentially let foreign powers write our story, or the Caribbean can stand up and write it ourselves. So we need to separate facts from fear. We need to separate facts from fear. And we need to put power back in the hands of the people, because right now we're almost helpless. No one knows really fully what's going on because the powers that be are not explaining exactly what's happening here. So they're almost asking you to not believe your lying eyes. Do not believe your lying eyes. But here at 10, I'd say stay alert, stay informed, and never let foreign powers write the story of our region without our voice in it. And that's how I would like to end this video today. I'm not sure what the wake-up call is going to be. Trinidad Empowerment Network. But I keep my ear to the ground and bring you the best information that I can. Stay tuned, stay locked in, look after each other. God bless. Take care. Peace.